12 candles for best friends. One night of joy that should have been remembered forever, until it turned into a scene of unspeakable horror. What began as a birthday sleepover for a bubbly 12-year-old girl spiraled into one of the most harrowing family massacres the country has ever seen. Blood on the balloons, silence where laughter once echoed, and a killer no one saw coming. This is more than a story of murder. It's a look into the facade of perfection and the darkness that can hide in plain sight. Stick with us as we unravel the timeline, the warning signs, and the moment everything shattered. The Harwoods were the kind of family people admired in the small town of Millersfield, Ohio. David Harwood was a respected accountant. His wife, Cynthia, taught second grade at the local elementary school. They had 3 children: Abigail, 12, the eldest and the center of this tragedy, and her 2 younger brothers, Jeremy, 9, and Caleb, 6. To the outside world, they were picture perfect. Holiday cards, soccer games, PTA meetings, barbecues in their well-manicured backyard. But behind that suburban facade, something darker was brewing. Neighbors later described David as polite but distant, and Cynthia as warm but always tired. Abigail, on the other hand, was bubbly and popular. Her 12th birthday was coming up, and all she wanted was a sleepover with her 3 best friends. That weekend, she got her wish. It was Friday, October 14th. Fall leaves littered the Harwood's yard as guests arrived for the party. Abigail had invited 3 of her closest friends, Emily, Kayla, and Jasmine. The evening began like any other suburban birthday. Pizza, cake, karaoke, and a movie marathon. Cynthia made popcorn. David kept himself in the basement, reportedly watching sports. At around 11:30 p.m., the girls settled into sleeping bags in the living room. Cynthia kissed her daughter goodnight. Abigail's last Instagram story was a selfie with her friends, captioned, "Best birthday ever." It would be the last photo she ever posted. At 1:47 a.m., a chilling 911 call came in. "Dispatcher, 911, what's your emergency?" Distorted breathing, whispers, then a girl's voice. "Help us. He's in the house. Please hurry. There's blood. I think they're dead." The line cut off. Police rushed to the Harwood residence within 7 minutes. The front door was slightly ajar. No sounds inside. No lights. What officers discovered inside was worse than any horror film. In the living room, 2 of the sleepover guests, Emily and Jasmine, were found stabbed multiple times. Both were declared dead at the scene. Abigail was found barely clinging to life, lying beside her unopened birthday presents. Kayla had managed to hide in a linen closet and was the one who made a 911 call. She was discovered in shock, drenched in blood that wasn't hers. Upstairs, Cynthia and the boys had also been murdered. The mother and 2 sons were found in their beds, executed with a kitchen knife. David Harwood, however, was missing. Initially, police feared he'd been kidnapped or killed, but by morning, their worst fears were confirmed. By 10 a.m. the next morning, David Harwood was found 40 miles away in a roadside motel, unconscious from an apparent overdose. In his vehicle, blood-stained clothes, the family dog, alive but traumatized, and a handwritten note. It read, "I couldn't take it anymore. They never appreciated me. She was going to leave. The kids didn't care. I gave them everything." David confessed to the entire massacre from his hospital bed. Investigations revealed David had been battling severe depression and financial strain. Months prior, he'd lost his job but continued pretending everything was fine. Cynthia had discovered the truth weeks before and reportedly told close friends she was considering separation. On the night of Abigail's party, David snapped. He waited until everyone had gone to bed. He murdered his wife first, then the boys. Then he walked downstairs and attacked the sleeping girls. He spared Kayla by accident. She'd gone to the bathroom minutes before. The town of Millersfield held a vigil that Sunday. Hundreds gathered at the elementary school playground to light candles, lay flowers, and remember the victims. Kayla underwent intense therapy and later testified at David's trial, recounting how she watched her best friend bleed out in front of her. David Harwood pleaded guilty to 7 counts of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life without parole. Abigail was remembered as kind, full of life, and always looking out for her younger brothers. This case isn't just about murder. It's about the silent suffering that can hide behind a smile the monsters that can exist within the walls of a seemingly perfect home, and the unimaginable toll that secrets and silence can take. A young girl's birthday became the darkest night in her town's history, and while justice was served, the scars it left will never fully heal. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression, reach out. You're not alone. In the weeks following the massacre, the Harwood family's secrets began to surface, unraveling the illusion of suburban peace. David Harwood had accumulated over $160,000 in credit card debt. He'd refinanced their home without telling Cynthia, gambled away what remained of their savings, and had even been served with a quiet foreclosure notice 2 weeks before the murders. Cynthia had recently started attending therapy sessions and confided in her closest friend that she no longer recognized the man she married. She wasn't just considering leaving David. She had already seen a divorce attorney and was planning to move out after Abigail's birthday. Police later found a hidden journal under David's desk drawer. Inside were ramblings, paranoid thoughts, lists of wrongs his family had committed against him, and pages filled with obsessive notes about feeling replaced, invisible, unworthy. What shocked investigators most was the tone, not angry, but resentfully calm, like a man who had been planning something inevitable. Forensic psychologists labeled David Harwood a covert family annihilator, someone who views their family as an extension of themselves and, in their mind, cannot allow them to live if he feels he's lost control. David didn't kill out of sudden rage. He killed out of a twisted desire to erase the failure, believing if he couldn't have the picture-perfect life, no one else could either. Experts say family annihilators often strike around moments of perceived humiliation, job loss, divorce, public shame. In David's case, Abigail's birthday may have been a symbolic final chapter of the life he believed was slipping away from him. Even more chilling, investigators discovered he had searched online for painless ways to kill a family 2 nights before the sleepover. Millersfield, Ohio had never seen a crime of this magnitude. The local school board suspended classes for a week. Crisis counselors flooded the town. Churches held special services. Children were suddenly afraid of their own parents. Kayla's family moved away shortly after the trial. Her mother told reporters they couldn't bear the whispers, the looks, the pity. Kayla eventually changed schools and her name. The remaining 2 girls who had been invited to the sleepover but couldn't attend that night struggled with deep survivor's guilt. One told a therapist, "I still sleep with my light on." For years, Halloween was unofficially canceled in Millersfield. Abigail's house remained empty, a grim monument that no one dared to buy. Eventually, it was demolished. In its place now stands a small memorial garden with 7 engraved stones, 1 for each victim. Abigail's teacher, Mrs. Reynolds, remembered her as a walking ray of sunshine. She was always the first to help a classmate, known for her contagious laugh and her dream of becoming a veterinarian. In honor of her memory, the school created the Abigail Harwood Kindness Award, given each year to a student who goes out of their way to show empathy and leadership. But perhaps the most haunting detail, Abigail had written a poem in class just 3 days before her death. It was about birthdays, family, and how she wished every day could be as happy as when we're all together. No one could have known it would become her eulogy. This story reminds us of a chilling truth. Tragedy often wears a mask. A birthday, a family dinner, a father tucking in his kids, and beneath it all, something unthinkable. David Harwood didn't just steal lives. He shattered innocence. He transformed a moment meant to be joyful into a scene of unimaginable horror. In memory of Abigail, Emily, Jasmine, Cynthia, Jeremy, Caleb, and the thousands of silent victims of domestic violence, let this not just be a cautionary tale, but a call for awareness, mental health intervention, and compassion. Because behind every smiling family photo, there could be a cry for help,